Airport stop, 914 Northwest Main Street.
Well, thank you, Carson. Thank you so much to the Chamber as well for hosting this event, giving me this opportunity. I truly appreciate the collaboration and the advocacy of the Chamber. It's just a wonderful and great organization. I asked Carson if I could recognize all the elected officials today. So because it's really quite humbling to have elected representatives from other jurisdictions take the time to attend a State of the City, considering the many citizens and organizations they represent and their very busy schedules. So starting off, I haven't seen her yet, but representing the 35th District of the great state of Missouri, we have, I think in attendance, Carrie Engel. Is she here? No, she didn't make it? That's okay. We have plenty more. Representing the 6th District of Jackson County is Legislator Teresa Galvin. Yes. I'm going to say a quick comment about each one, so let me say my comment before the applause. So, Legislator Galvin, thank you for being so accessible, always in attendance, and always a phone call away. My dear friends and mayoral colleagues are in the house. We have the charismatic, wise, and honorable Mayor Carson Ross of Blue Springs. Yep, they're back here. The classy, pragmatic, and highly respected Mayor Leonard Jones of Grandview. Mike Larson's not here, is he? Did he make it? Okay. From Sugar Creek. And then we have the collaborator-in-chief and dear friend, Mayor Mike McDonough of Raytown. We like to call ourselves the United Eastern Jackson County Mayors. Gentlemen, I greatly appreciate your support and friendship. We also have school board members and administrators present. Representing the Lee Summit R7 School Board are, I think, board president, yes, she is right there, Kathy Campbell, and board members, yep, Megan Marshall. Board members, Megan Marshall is here, I saw her earlier. And is Heather Eslick here? I thought I saw her. Yes, there she is right up front. Board member Heather Eslick. And from the other top-rated public school district in our city, we have Blue Springs School Board member Jeff Seams. There's he. I think he's here. Yeah. It really sends to the board members, it sends a strong message that you're here today and we value all that you're doing for our community. Dr. Buck, I don't believe he's here, but I do want to make a comment about the Lee Summit School District. Is he here? Yeah. Dr. Buck, I just want to say thank you. Yes, he's here. Go ahead and give him a holler. Thank you, sir. He's been instrumental hold on, sorry, my little thing's messing up, in partnering with the school district, with the city, and other community partners in workforce development. He and the board continue to go all in with the district's resources allocated to workforce development and provide students training and opportunities to meet with local employers for jobs coming right out of high school. The school board and Dr. Buck have been meeting annually in a joint meeting with the city council, and it's opened the lines of communication and opportunities to partner. And I can't tell you how much this is appreciated by the city and the stakeholders in our community, so thank you. I would also like to note former mayors Randy Rhodes and Bob Jones are in attendance tonight. Thank you for coming, gentlemen. You guys are truly civic leaders. I know there are a few city staff, members present. I thank you for being here. I would like to acknowledge City Manager Steve Arbo up at the front here. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. And Assistant City Manager Mark Dunning. Back over here. So Steve Arbo will be retiring in 1 week. After 20 years of loyal and dedicated service to the city of Lee Summit, he has accomplished so much in his career and accumulated a lot of awards and accolades. And in my good fortune, I had the honor of working side by side with him every day for more than 4 years as a teammate and partner. He equipped us with a strategic plan, a financially strong city with a AAA credit rating, an incredibly strong reserve balance, a talented staff to continue the work, and he helped build a culture of collaboration throughout this community. So Steve Arbo, thank you for all you've done for the city of Lee Summit. Mark Dunning will be taking over for Steve as city manager next week. Yes. Mark is the ultimate team player and collaborator. He will lead by example and will help council make good decisions. The city council and I are pretty proud of ourselves and this selection, as our citizens and stakeholders have continuously complimented us on our choice. Crystal Weber continues in her role as assistant city manager and will support Mr. Dunning's leadership. And Mr. Dunning has already chosen his replacement as assistant manager. Ryan Elam was named as assistant city manager just a couple weeks ago, and the city council has much experience working with Ryan and seen firsthand his detailed organizational abilities and his talents for strategic planning, so we are excited to work with him. Thank you. I have been truly blessed the last 4 years with a great city council. Beto Lopez serves as the mayor pro tem and has done so the last 4 years. He helps provide a chemistry that keeps the council working together and focused on the values and priorities that have helped us achieve so much. He serves in many capacities and puts in a lot of time at the regional level, such as at MARC, the Mid-America Regional Council, where he serves on the leadership committee. So Mayor Pro Tem Lopez, where are you? He serves alongside Councilmember Phyllis Edson in District 3, and Councilmember Edson is a true champion for the citizens in her district and helps the council with regard to prioritizing our infrastructure, such as upgrading and repairing streets and addressing stormwater issues. She also continually advocates for public safety and was instrumental in placing fire stations 4 and 5 on the 2019 ballot. She also advocates for ways to make housing more affordable and challenges the council to get back to the point when we go down rabbit holes. Is Councilmember Edson, did she make it? She's traveling back. Okay. Next would be Council members Fred DeMoro and Faith Hodges of District 4. Councilmember Hodges is here. Councilmember DeMoro is right over here. Councilmember DeMoro has championed public safety at all levels. He is the chair of the Finance and Budget Committee and is one of the most visible and engaged council members in the community. He served as chair of the Public Works for many years, and before council, he served on the Planning Commission. For years, he advocated for bringing quality jobs to Lee Summit, and as you will hear later, we have stepped up to his calls. So Councilmember DeMoro. Councilmember Hodges is newly elected, and she is one of the hardest working council members I've ever seen. She preps for meetings diligently, which in my opinion is a critical part of being a great council member. She is a great listener, but she is also a straight shooter that brings a sincere and candid perspective to the council. Councilmember Hodges is extremely engaging and present at events throughout the community, which is another critical part of being an insightful council member. Councilmember Hodges. Okay, Councilmember Hillary Shields and Mia Pryor represent District 1. Yep. Councilmember Shields is one of the most analytical, critical thinkers I know. She assesses our discussions and helps bring clarity to our decisions. She is a champion for the downtown, for employee welfare and affordable housing, but she also has a propensity for keeping developers accountable to their commitments. Councilmember Shields. Councilmember Pryor is also newly elected and brings life to every discussion and meeting. There will be no rubber stamping going on under her watch. We will discuss all issues openly while she is on council. She is the epitome of a transparent public servant and brings a positive approach to all discussions. Her door is always open and she is extremely present and accessible throughout the community. So Councilmember Pryor. Council members Andrew Felker and John Lovell of District 2. Councilmember Felker is the chair of the Public Works and other committees. Councilmember Felker uses his expertise in law to help the council navigate barriers and find solutions. He challenges us to make well thought out decisions and consider the ramifications. He is our most methodical council member and keeps engaging till the final vote is cast, no matter how late it gets in the evening. Councilmember Felker. Councilmember Lovell is also newly elected, though he has served previously on the Planning Commission, just as a few of our council members have. I like to refer to Councilmember Lovell as our numbers guy because he challenges us to be sure we are good stewards of the taxpayer's dollar. But he also brings his business background to add to the economic development decisions and discussions that we have at council. His skill set will be invaluable in making good financial decisions as we continue to grow in remarkable ways as a city. Councilmember Lovell. To our citizens and stakeholders, it is rare, I think, for a mayor to actually take time from the state of the city to not only announce each council member, but also let you know that each and every one of them are truly talented and working for your benefit. I can do this on this day because we have a rare council. We are blessed with council members that do not have any other agenda other than to make decisions that will support the mission of the city to provide high quality of life and build and maintain a community where we are proud to raise our children and to care for our aging parents. We have a diversity of thought with this council that represents many points of life experiences. We are blessed to have such an amazing council, and the credit goes to you as citizens for making good decisions to elect such honorable people to office. I do want to, and I mean that sincerely, thank you to you as the citizens for putting us in this position. I do want to acknowledge one last person, and that is the most important person in my life, my wife, Hillary Baird. Yes. Often the spouses of council members are not so honorary members of council. They get stuck listening to our trials and tribulations at 11 p.m. or midnight, like last night, about trivial details or meeting nuances that no one really cares about except the 9 people on the dais. They are critical in keeping our spirits up and reminding us that we are doing good for our community. My wife, Hillary, reminds me to give grace to everyone each day and praise for the council and I every Tuesday night. She is the most influential person in my life. I try not to burden her with all the politics, but I often need to, and she provides a perspective and support that gives me the strength to make the best decisions I can. In all I do, I aspire to make her proud. Thank you. I also aspire to always make Hillary happy. And you would think that would be pretty easy given she is always happy. If you know my wife, Hillary, have you ever seen her not smiling? It's crazy. She wakes up smiling. She goes to work smiling. She seriously sleeps smiling. So can you imagine what it feels like when Hillary looks at you and doesn't smile? It's crushing, truly devastating. So I would do anything to keep Hillary smiling. Recently, Hillary was going to leave town for a few days for a girls' trip to the lake. She was very excited, not because she was going to get a break from me, but because she loves the sun and water and her wonderful friends. She told me she wanted to do a couple of things before she left town on Saturday. First, she wanted to get a new phone because she does a lot of real estate business on her phone, and her phone was older and messing up. Second, she wanted to go to Hy-Vee and get good food for me to fill our fridge while she was gone. She's very sweet. So we went to T-Mobile in Lee Summit, and one of the stores in Lee Summit, and requested an upgrade for her iPhone. She wanted to get an iPhone Pro, but not just any iPhone Pro. It had to be the Sierra Blue iPhone Pro. Hillary's all about the details, especially the aesthetics and the colors. So we arrived at the T-Mobile store and engaged with the sales rep who explained that we were such loyal customers of 20 years that we could get a phone, no money down, no interest, and would only have to pay the sales tax. Just so you know, sales tax on an $1,100 iPhone is like $90. However, the sales rep said she was sorry, but they did not have the Sierra Blue in stock. She said she could order it and it would be here in a few days. Hillary's face dropped and her beautiful smile went away. You see, she really wanted that phone before she left town for the girls' trip. My heart sank. So I asked the sales rep if she could check the other nearby stores to see if it was in stock. I mean, at one point we had like 4 T-Mobile stores in Lee Summit, so I thought, no problem. The sales rep checked the inventory, that is, and she said, good news. Hillary's big and amazing smile came back. The closest store with a Sierra Blue iPhone was only 6 miles away in Raytown. And then there was silence. Hillary's smile faded away again and was replaced a little bit of sadness, I could see. Then she looked at me and she smiled sweetly and she looked at the sales rep and she said, we like to shop local and keep our sales tax dollars in the city. And I was like, Hillary, it's not a big deal. It's like $90. It's just 6 minutes away. You deserve that iPhone before you go on your trip. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. Mayor Mike McDonough of Raytown will be grateful. So off we went to Raytown. The T-Mobile store in Raytown is ginormous. I guess it's the training center for all the T-Mobile stores in the Kansas City area. So we went in, they had the phone, they started transferring Hillary's gazillion photos from her phone to her new one, and they said it was going to be an hour. And I was like, whoa, an hour, okay. But right next door to the T-Mobile is Hy-Vee. So I said, Hillary, let's go get the food at Hy-Vee. And she gives me this look, and I knew she was going to say something about buying local. And I was like, Hillary, it's okay. It's not a big deal. So we went next door, spent a couple $100 on groceries. So Mayor Mike McDonough got another $16 on top of the $90 at T-Mobile. So I did wonder, though, how many of those sales reps in training at the Raytown T-Mobile store had to drive from Overland Park, Olathe, North Kansas City, Liberty, and beyond to come to that store to train each week. And for convenience sake, spent their money in Raytown's grocery stores, restaurants, and gas stations. I also wondered, what if everyone thought like Hillary? What kind of impact would it have on our economy? What if our citizens prioritized buying local to that extreme? What if our city council and I focused on ways to bring jobs to our community where employees, out of pure convenience, would be enticed to spend their dollars in our grocery stores and more? What if our city council and community partners focused on ways to bring people to our community for a day trip, for tourism, for ball games, to our downtown, to our hotels? What impact would this not only have on our city, but on our businesses in the community? What if? You see, I am a what if kind of person. I am obsessed with what if. My favorite movies are movies that beautifully tell the story of what if. My favorite of all is It's a Wonderful Life, where a man, George, is given the greatest gift, a chance to see what the world would be like without him. What if he had never been born and not saved his brother from drowning at age 9? What if George had not been in the drugstore working that day when the pharmacist was drunk? What if George had not married the love of his life? What if he had not sacrificed so much for his community? His thought was that the world would have been better off had he never been born, but his thought was wrong. George saved not only his brother, and therefore the lives his brother saved in the war, but also saved the pharmacist from poisoning a customer. He saved his Uncle Billy's health and his business. He saved his friends from financial devastation and from foreclosure during the Great Depression. He even saved his city's beautiful downtown, a lot like our amazing downtown with a tree-lined street, from becoming a Las Vegas-style strip. When I look to our city and think, what if? I think of benchmarks, like when Western Electric brought thousands of jobs to this small town in the 1960s. What if all those jobs had not come here to build up our economic base? I think what if Lakewood had not been developed in the 1970s and given us a premier neighborhood to attract families? What if there hadn't been a Bernard Campbell to provide vision and leadership for our schools, or a Bud Herzog, Gene Gamber, or Carl Chinnery to rally our community to make big decisions? What if the mayor and council had not made the difficult decisions in the 1980s to implement impact fees on development to pay for infrastructure to allow our city to grow in healthy ways? What if we hadn't had a Steve Arbo to lead us through extremely difficult times during and after the recession a dozen years ago? What if we hadn't gotten our employees' pay or compensation back up to market in 2019 after being 10% below market? Given the current competitive labor market, how many talented employees would we have lost the last few years? Even more recently, what if we hadn't passed the use tax or the public safety sales tax? What choices would we, the city council, be faced with at this very moment without those critical revenues? Each of these people and events have impacted our present day and have rippling effects that cannot be measured. But it doesn't stop there. Those are just the benchmarks. They are not the fabric that sews it all together. There are great leaders and great moments, but it still comes down to the collective. The really important what if is to ask, what if the unnamed citizens, the John and Susie Q's of yesteryear and yesterday, had not been there to help support Bernard Campbell through the tough times and tough decisions? What if all the unnamed citizens had not supported the leaders of yesteryear or supported the ballot initiatives that have been key and critical to our past and present successes? It still comes down to the community and your collective voices and your support. You are the fabric of the community. And in the case of the movie I love so much, the community is the one that comes back and saves George. Like I said, I obsess over these thoughts, and they drive me to consider every single action I take as a husband, father, son, brother, uncle, friend, family member, community member, mayor. I can assure you, I want to make a difference with my actions, but I can also assure you it cannot be done without you and your personal investment. It takes the community's support to make and take positive steps, actions, and initiatives. So when I ask or say, what if, I'm truly speaking to you. You are a part of every decision, whether you are aware of the specifics or not. You have put us in a place where we can be successful, and I thank you. Yeah. A few years ago, I started obsessing over what if we could bring 100 jobs here. I wasn't the first to think of this, Councilmember DeMauro. All right? Many council members have been saying this for years. But what are the ripple effects that lead to tens of millions of dollars of economic output for our community in the way of shoring up other businesses, bringing in sales tax revenues for our city, and in supply and forward linkage jobs that are created to support the new jobs? And what if we were to bring 500 jobs that lead to billions in economic output in our community? What if we invest in tourism and create a destination marketing organization, or DMO, and bring millions in economic output and millions in sales tax revenues from day trips and overnight stays in our city? What if we finish that farmer's market and performance venue that we promised the voters and elevate the most charming downtown from local destination to regional hotspot? With all we have in motion in the pipeline, with a strategic plan completed in 2020, a comprehensive plan completed in 2021, with a staff as talented as any in the Midwest, with a council, city council as professional and civic-minded as we have, and with a community as supportive and engaged as Lee Summit, it's not a matter of what if, but a matter of time, because the stage has been set. The answer to many of these what if questions are right around the corner. We're going to find out how financially impactful bringing 500 jobs will be to our community, because in the last year, our city council approved 2 developments that will lead to hundreds of jobs and hundreds more in supplier jobs. The first approval was for Scannell Properties, which was 800,000 square feet of high-quality industrial buildings just west of the police headquarters. The second was an approval for LS Industrial to build 600,000 square feet of high-quality industrial buildings just south of 50 Highway at 291 and Bailey Road. This was formerly the Groves and is now owned by the Odell family. These 2 developments total 1.4 million square feet of spec buildings that will bring these long, vacant properties to life with business, jobs, and economic activity in our city. Our city council sent a message that reverberated throughout the metro that Lee Summit is open for business expansion, and we have the workforce, community support, and political will to welcome quality jobs and businesses to the city. Last night, the City Council approved the first reading of Chapter 353 redevelopment plan for the Farmers Market and Performance Venue in downtown Lee Summit. This approval allows us to implement the plan and overall project so that we may begin to make the public improvements, including infrastructure. This long-awaited treasure for our downtown will add to the tremendous pride and love our community has for our downtown. Additionally, City Council has begun discussions regarding a tourism or destination marketing organization so that we can benefit from tourism in our city just as our metropolitan comparator cities have. Whether attracting visitors for a day trip to our downtown or to stay overnight to enjoy the sights and sounds of our city, tourism has a place in our community, and the City Council will move in that direction. We have added even more options for retail and dining in our city, such as Streets of West Pryor with Roots, and at Summit Orchard with the opening of Cooper's Hawk, and with the likes of Flavor and the downtown deli and market. With all the new and various restaurants we have added the last 4 years, we are certainly able to feed anyone visiting our city. And after 3 years of discussion with the real estate holding group representing the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I anticipate that within 6 to 12 months, we will be presented development concepts that our City Council will begin considering. The holding group will not put all 4,200 acres for sale at one time, but in tranches. The first batch of properties will likely be many hundreds of acres on the south, and also potentially hundreds on the north side, depending on infrastructure. The infrastructure costs are significant, with all 4,200 acres being farmland with no water or sewer. Our city council and city manager were able to lobby our state elected officials for funding with the help of Senator Mike Searpoy and Representative Carrie Engel. We were appropriated $10.5 million in funding to go towards sewer and infrastructure for the 1,000 acres due east of 470. We still have a considerable way to go with our infrastructure needs, but this was one of the highlights of the year, and we are thankful for our state elected official support. Thank you. I don't know if you saw in the video, but it said we approved over $364 million of new construction in the last year. And on the video, it said we also had done over $1.5 billion in new construction over the last 4 years. New construction expands our tax base and increases our tax revenues. While we have continued to grow commercially, a large part of the new construction is still residential. We have welcomed a variety of housing options just as our strategic and comprehensive plans have outlined. Recently, the City Council reviewed an apartment or a multifamily study to ascertain the supply and demand. Conservative estimates indicate that demand is still far greater than supply. However, the most interesting information that came out of the study to me were the charts comparing the density in Lee Summit to comparator cities such as Overland Park, Olathe, and Lenexa. The study revealed that 74% of households in Lee Summit were owner-occupied. So 26% were renter-occupied, compared to 63% owner-occupied in Overland Park and 56% in Lenexa. We also had far greater owner occupancy than Independence and Grandview, and our numbers basically matched Olathe and Blue Springs. Lee Summit, in this sense, is still a bedroom community where homeownership is highly desirable and the primary housing option. The affordability of homes has become a challenge across the nation, not just Lee Summit. As council and city, we will continue as we have in the past, to thoroughly evaluate the variety of residential developments that come before us to make sure they're quality construction, pleasing aesthetics, include desirable amenities, and are built and managed by reputable developers and companies. We will rely on facts, research, statistics, and expert analysis to make our decisions. Lee's Summit is still a city with far less density in population per square mile as well as density per occupancy. There is a reasonable path when it comes to housing discussions and decisions, and we will carefully navigate through our growth. As you can see, the City Council has approved billions of dollars in economic development of everything from high-quality industrial buildings to incredible restaurants, prestigious new neighborhoods, a few entry-level neighborhoods, and some of the most luxurious apartments in the metro. Alongside the incredible private economic growth in our community, the City of Lee's Summit is upgrading and adding to our city services and infrastructure. Our projected revenues for our operating budget are over $90 million. Just 1 year ago, we were at $80 million. And 4 years ago, we were at $70 million. So a $20 million increase in tax revenues, and it's due to our strong sales tax revenues, the added use tax revenues passed by the voters in 2020, the reallocation of debt our citizens approved in 21, and the passage of the public safety sales tax earlier this year. The city is in a strong position to attract and retain employees who will continue to provide quality services and to expand our police and fire departments. I've been advised that we have been successful in maintaining our public safety ranks with some of the lowest vacancy in years, and that's saying something in this current climate. City administration and city council have worked hard to put our community in a position to take care of our guardians of the city and our hometown heroes and not lose them to neighboring jurisdictions or even to the private sector. We will be breaking ground for 2 replacement fire stations with the bonds voters approved in 2019 and are making plans for adding firefighters, police officers, and public safety equipment with the revenues from the public safety sales tax. The City Council has been focused on public safety for 4 years, and that will continue to be our priority. Public safety does also include safe roads and highways to drive. The state of Missouri and the City of Lee's Summit approved funding for the 291 North and 50 Highway interchange and realignment of the outer roads. This dangerous intersection is where Quick Trip and the Missouri Highway Patrol Troop A headquarters are located, and it will be completely redesigned and rebuilt. This multi-jurisdiction agreement comprised 5 governmental entities and is one of the most amazing developments I have seen in my time as an elected official. It's difficult enough to get 2 jurisdictions, governmental jurisdictions, to work together, let alone 5. Steve Arbo initiated the conversations, and with the help of David Bushek, our economic development attorney, they coordinated a partnership between the City of Lee's Summit, the State of Missouri Governor's Office, Missouri Department of Transportation, the Missouri State Highway Patrol, and the Lee's Summit R7 School District. The existing interchange has the highest crash rate in Lee's Summit. The changes will provide a safer interchange, create new economic development opportunities, and build a Highway Patrol headquarters that will meet their needs today and in the future. The city also worked with the state of Missouri for over 2 years with regard to a public disposal area for our citizens. After closing the landfill a few years ago, staff worked with the state to consider a public disposal area that was not a transfer station bringing trash hauling packer trucks, but a permanent option for our citizens to drop off debris and trash. In a first of its kind in the state of Missouri, the City of Lee's Summit was approved, and we are now under construction for a state-of-the-art public disposal area where recycling and disposal for our citizens may continue without a landfill and without a traditional transfer station. The disposal center will aim for recycling 50% or more of all disposed items our citizens drop off. We're pretty proud of that one. As you can see, the city was working diligently the last couple of years. In spite of the pandemic, we spent considerable time game planning, mapping out our future via a long-term citizen strategic plan, a long-term comprehensive plan, and an airport master plan. We will be spending the next 6 months engaging our citizens, boards, and committees regarding their scopes and objectives to align with the strategic plans. City Council has directed staff to put together plans to help bring together volunteers as well as allocate resources towards litter and trash cleanup. Along these lines, the city is looking to partner with MoDOT to help with the litter and beautification of our city. One of the busiest commissions is the Diversity and Inclusion Commission. The commission recently completed a community assessment report. The commission will continue their work with support of City Council as we remain committed to eliminating barriers, improving access to resources, and creating growth opportunities for all. As this commission moves forward, they will enter a stage of fostering alignment among the different entities working on diversity and inclusion efforts. Few cities are taking such a strategic and proactive approach to make their communities the most wonderful places to live, work, and play. The successes accomplished by the City of Lee Summit in recent years is impressive and has led to more initiatives, developments, and opportunities in our pipeline. I give credit to the City Council, City Administration, our community partners, and the citizens all working together as a team. And Team Lee Summit is moving forward with an incredible playbook and game plan. It starts with an all-pro City Council, chock full of extremely engaged and dedicated City Council members. Our council takes the time to make good decisions and then moves forward decisively. We have a talented team of city administrators that execute the game plan and empower the City Council. We have the finest employees working in every corner of the city, keeping our citizens safe and providing high-quality municipal services. And we have engaged citizens and stakeholders who continue to support our work. We must remain focused on getting across the goal line each and every drive. Citizens are proud of us for elevating our game, raising the bar with professionalism and class, and focusing on the issues most important to them, such as public safety, a welcoming business environment, and a balanced and healthy economy. We are a role model community for the state of Missouri, and we will continue to work as a team to get even better every day. What if the entire community continues to work together as a team? What if the city administration and staff execute the strategic plan every single week and keep moving forward? What if the City Council engages more people and empowers more voices in our community? What if the community partners foster alignment of their initiatives and goals with the city? What if the citizens continue to voice their support, that is, for good decisions and good ballot initiatives? I can tell you the answer to all these what ifs. We are going to make a difference in the lives of over 100,000 people in ways that we'll never be able to measure or track, in synergistic ways that ripple out into the community and enrich the lives of others. We're going to make things better for our family, friends, and neighbors. And that is how you live a wonderful life. So let's get living, and thank you all for coming.